Chapter 2.
Karis rewound the tape. We played it.
We're on a
Turned
separate
off the
part.
recorder and said, okay.
It's not just chapter 2.
Yes.
Because there's been a chapter 4
Well,
before this.
Well, I must say it does have two. Sudden quickening of hope arose in the Jesuit, brightening his eyes for an instant,
Chapter 2.
and then dimming as he reflexively looked down. But I don't recognize it. Is it ancient, modern? I don't know. Well, why not leave it? I'll check it much more thoroughly with some. Maybe one of them. Could you please make a copy? I'd like to keep the original. Oh, yeah, sure. In the meantime, I've got another. You got the time? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. They reply. Well, let me ask you something. Yeah, what? Frank, what if I were to give you samples of ordinary speech by what are apparently two different people? Could you tell by semantic analysis that just one person might have been capable of both modes of speech? Oh, I think so. Yeah, sure. A type-token ratio, I suppose. Be as good a way as any to work that out. With samples of 1,000 words or more, you could just check the frequency of occurrence of the various parts of speech. And would you call that conclusive? You see, that sort of test was discovered in change in the basic vocabulary. It's not the words, but the expression of the style. We call it index of person. Very baffling for laymen, which, of course, is what we want. The director smiled brightly. Then he nodded at the tape with Karis's hand. And so, this other person's voice is on that one? Not exactly. Exactly. The voices and the words on both tapes came out of the mouth of one and the same person. The director's eyebrows rose. The same person? Yeah. As I said, it was a case of dual personality. Now, Frank, could you compare them against one another for me? I mean, the voices sound totally different, but I'd still like to see what a comparative analysis would show. The director looked intrigued, even pleased. He said, fascinating. Yes, we'll run the analysis. I'm thinking maybe now I'll give it to Paul as my top instructor. Brilliant mind. I think he dreams in Indian code talk. One more favor, Frank. It's a big one. Yeah. I'd prefer if you did the comparisons. Oh, yeah. As quickly as possible. Please. The director read the urgency in Karis's voice and in his eyes. Okay. Okay, I'll get him. Returning to his room in the Jesuit residence, Karis found a message. Reagan directed from Barrett to the campfire. Karis hurried to reception, signed the package, returned to his room, sat down at his desk and started avidly reading. At the end, as he read the conclusion of the finished psychiatric clinic, his mood of hopeful anticipation had slipped into one of his indications of guilt obsession with ensuing hysterical somnambulistic. Needing to breathe no more, Karis stopped, propped his elbows on the desk, and with a sigh, slowly lowered his face into his hands. Don't give up. Don't give up. Room for doubt, interpretation. In the matter of Reagan's thin stigmata, which according to the record, had recurred again repeatedly while Reagan had been under observation at Barringer. The clinic's summary analysis had noted that Reagan